Thank you for watching UBC Television. My name is Wadulo Makanol once again, and the news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is back home from Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, where he joined other heads of state and government for one-day 13th Ordinary Summit of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development. Presidency Minister Esther Mbayo and the senior security officials received the president on the arrival at Entebbe International Airport this evening. The summit was held at the request of the invitation of the Ethiopian Prime Minister and current IGAD chairman, Dr. Ahmed Ali Abe. Earlier, the president was received at Bole International Airport by the President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, His Excellency Sahle-Work Zewde. Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Gedu Andagaruchi, Uganda's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Sam Kutesa, Uganda's Ambassador to Addis Ababa, Ms. Rebecca Otengo, and the other Ethiopian and IGAD officials. The summit, which was preceded by the 47th Ordinary Session of the Council of Ministers, focused on the transfer of IGAD chairmanship, currently held by the Ethiopian official handover of the role of the Executive Secretary and the adoption of a new IGAD structure, among other things. The IGAD member countries include Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, Uganda, South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, and Eritrea. In more news, the Vice President Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi has said that the national budget is premised on industrialization and skilling Ugandans, especially the youth, to create jobs in the production and service sector. The 7th Visionaries of Uganda Awards have been running under the theme celebrating dynamic leadership and strengthening the fundamentals of the economy to achieve the Uganda Vision 2040. We take a look.
That is the team of able men and women who have rendered a tremendous service to this country, and we appreciate them.
The Vice President, Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi, has said that the national budget is premised on industrialization and skilling Ugandans, especially the youth, to create jobs in the production and services sectors. While presiding over the 7th Visionary of Uganda Awards ceremony at Serena Hotel, the Vice President stressed that this is the reason leaders must share their vision with the people right from the households to provide solutions to their various challenges. The 7th Visionaries of Uganda's Awards have been running under the theme celebrating dynamic leadership and strengthening the fundamentals of the economy to achieve the Uganda Vision 2040. The Vice President said that the country's national goal is graduating all citizens to a middle-class income status, and this needs visionary leaders like President Yoweri Museveni, whose main focus is helping eradicate poverty in the country.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has put all his energy to build a prosperous Uganda. He has inspired many, old and young youth, to adopt visionary thinking and visionary methods of work. He has transformed Uganda from chaos of failing state to a secure, peaceful country and a beacon of hope in the East African region and African continent. Indeed, Uganda is not only secure and peaceful, but is now a next exporter of peace to other countries. That is what visionary leadership does.
Sekandi said that recognition and giving awards to people, both in public and private sector, inspires and spurs them to think more and work harder, and is also a thank you gesture in gratitude to their activities. The Vice President commended the spectrum of the awards outreach that has been extended to the personalities, companies, NGOs and government agencies, which has been done through research and survey, which is a transparent and acceptable manner. The Minister of Public Service, Ruli Mukasa, said that government recognizes and appreciates pace setters for development in their country, especially manufacturers who are doing value addition to the commodities in the country and which is in line with Vision 2040.
Having to foster national identity through a cultural concept which gives a nation a platform for solidarity, unity, peaceful coexistence, binding the people together towards a common good. Culture here represents the essence of how people really were, away from any kind of artificialities and influences. The above are some of the lessons that the NRM revolutionaries would like to pass on to the next generation.
Professor Enos Kiremere from the National Planning Authority said that Uganda is resting comfortably on development mattresses, which are oil and petroleum, minerals and developing road infrastructure, and is on the right path to achieving national goals, but the serious challenge for the country is corruption. He, however, underscores that the nations and people are challenged in order to develop if they don't give up, citing the inventor of the modern daylight bulb, who did not give up and after trying 1,000 times to perfect his invention. And now the whole world boasts because of him.
If you don't have a challenge, how are you going to develop? A child must learn how to stand and fall down before he can stand. Are you with me? So the problems should not be something to fear, but something to appreciate and think about and solve.
Reporting for UBC TV News, Stephen Kanaklia, Sempa.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sempa, right there. Now, in other news, the Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has lauded a book, or rather he has launched a book about the life and liberation struggle of a historic man, Matthew Ruchikaire, telling the historic story. The book launch, which took place at Kampala Serena Hotel, was a grand reunion of the old revolutionary guards, as this report will show us.
The book launch brought together a cross-section of government officials and members of the opposition. This reunion says a lot about the character of the author, who was described by many as a unifier. The book is titled 70 Years a Witness. Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda said the book should be an avenue through which to bring together Ugandans across the political divide.
This diversity, which is reflected in this audience, is consistent with what Chairman Matthew has always advocated. Unity in diversity. We have had many good statements, very good history from all of us. Of course, one would want to see that these good statements made here do not end here, but that from the launching of Matthew's book, we become more and more convergent and eventually together. After all, the movement had pulled us out of sectarian parties. I think time is now right. Instead of continuing on divergent routes, for us to become more and more convergent. Ultimately, we do that. Uganda will benefit, Uganda will be more united, and the progress will be much faster than what it is now, because we spend a bit of time in tug of wars instead of spending that time in our struggle to build a united country.
The author of the book, Matthew Ruchikaire, 81 years old now, said there was need for the country to unite to enable national development.
I am celebrating with you a lifetime story of which many of you have been part of some of its segments. When I look around and go back to the times of my childhood, of my school, of my university, and subsequently of my work, both as a civil servant, as a diplomat, and as a politician, I can see that many of you fall into one of those portions that make up the total entity of my life's journey. And I'm really excited that as many of you, at whatever levels you are, have been able to come and share with me the launch of this book and hear from me personally that you have been part of my life's journey.
Notable among those who attended, that included former Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi, former Ministers Paul Etiang, Miriam Matembe, Security Minister General Eli Tumwine, retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Westje, and many other Liberation War veterans. Story compiled by Michael Mugera, UBC News.
The Chief Justice Bat Magunda Katurewe has lauded government for the proposed construction of a Supreme Court and Court of Appeal, saying that this will save both the judiciary and the government the burden of paying rent worth billions of shillings. Now, while officiating the groundbreaking ceremony of the 63.9 billion court building construction works, the Chief Justice disclosed that the judiciary has been bearing the burden of paying close to 6 billion in rent for the two courts annually.
The judiciary has for long been renting close to 3/4 of office space with only High Court House at the judiciary headquarters. This has had a huge bearing on the performance of the judiciary.
How do you have the Court of Appeal sitting in the same building with a bank, with a restaurant, with a bar, with all sorts of other people, and you have the Court of Appeal of Uganda?
However, government has now kicked off construction of 2 multi-billion blocks to house both the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. According to plan, the two buildings will have holding cells for prisoners, separate entrances for different court officers and the public. Officiating at the groundbreaking ceremony, the Chief Justice Bat Katurewe lauded the move, though he was quick to say this is a drop in the ocean.
This is a great day. It's a very historical, momentous day that I should still be around to witness the groundbreaking for the construction of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
Others that witnessed the groundbreaking ceremony were the Deputy Chief Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo, the Principal Judge Yorokamba Mwene, and the Line Permanent Secretary Pius Bigirimana.
Many of your predecessors would have wanted to be the ones to flag off the physical process of construction. But like the Lord said in the Bible, He did not intend David to build the temple, He intended you. So I think we have reason to thank God for you.
MS Brothers and Company Uganda Limited and Pabat Siani Construction Limited are undertaking the civil works. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC.
Well, big congratulations to the judiciary right there. Now, in other news, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has expressed appreciation for the support from the American government to Uganda's education sector. The First Lady was bidding farewell to the outgoing U.S. ambassador to Uganda, Deborah Malak, who called on her at State House at Nakasero to take her leave. Mrs. Museveni thanked the Ambassador Malak for her cordial working relationship to the people of Uganda in her 4-year term of service. She said that the education sector appreciates the project supported by the United States Agency for International Development and cited that the early grade reading, which has made great impact in the districts where it is being implemented, is a success. The program focuses on improving reading skills of the early primary grade learners, that is P1 to P4, in Luganda, Runyoro Rutoro, Runyankole Ruchiga. Ambassador Deborah Malak briefed the First Lady about the support from the U.S. aid to the education sector under the Literacy and Retention Activity Project to complement the ongoing interventions in the basic education subsector to enhance learning achievements. She said that the U.S. government shares the concern about school-related gender-based violence, quality education and training, and is committed to supporting its achievement through the LARA project. Malak shared the concerns of donors about the small national budget allocation to the education sector, which needs to be addressed to enable easy access to global partnership for education funding. In more news, the visit of the NRM Party Secretary General to Mitiana Municipality has been one of the most glamorous in the district this week. Hundreds of NRM fans welcomed Justin Justin Kasule Lumumba, who was in the area to officiate the groundbreaking of the construction of the NRM party offices in Mityana district. The NRM treasurer, Rose Namayanja, and the chairperson of the NRM Women League, Lydia Wanyonto, arrived at Wabigalo, Mityana, in the convoy through Mityana municipality roads to Kunywa. Details follow.
Business came to a standstill in Mityana municipality from Wabigalo on Kampala Mityana Road through the municipality when the Secretary General of the ruling party, Justin Kasule Lumumba, visited the district to officiate at the groundbreaking ceremony of the party offices. Lumumba was accompanied by Rosemary Namayanja, the party treasurer, and the chairperson of the NRM Women League, Lydia Wanyonto. This proceeded in a convoy to Kunywa, where they officiated at a groundbreaking ceremony. The two-storied building will be constructed by Kabalega Technical Services Limited at a cost of 750 million. After launching the construction works at Kunywa, the Secretary General moved to Enro Hotel in Mityana, where she also officiated at a fundraising drive, and a total of 20 million was raised in cash and 28 in pledges. The NRM supporters planning to contest on the NRM ticket, including Vincent Nyanzi, John Mary Bugem, Wamang, Abraham Luzi, were among those that contributed cash, cement, sand, bricks, and among others. The NRM party contributed 13 million Ugandan shillings and commended the party members in Mityana for working together, which has enabled them to kickstart the construction process.
Ne Honorable Judith n'abakoba nga bwe mwenkanya constituency nga tuzze kukolera wamu ffenna because tusavinga abantu b'e Mityana. Ekigendererwa kyaffe kyonna kya kuweereza Mityana, ekigendererwa kyaffe kyonna kya kuzimba Mityana, ekigendererwa kyaffe kyonna kya Mityana kuvaayo.
Interesting. Let's take a short break and be back with more news tonight after these messages.
This weekend on UBC.
My name is Nkayo Hannington, winner of the NSSF Friends with Benefits Season 2.
Congratulations, Hannington!
I used my winnings to boost my agricultural production and give a chance to the people in my community to work.
So join us this year for the third season of the NSSF Friends with Benefits, as 16 Ugandans share inspirational stories on how they use their NSSF benefits to do life-changing things. So tune in every Sunday with your host, Gaetano, and I, and special new host, Uncle D. It's another incredible display. It's the NSSF Friends with Benefits.
And that's not all. You have the power to vote for your favorite stories to win up to 55 million shillings, just like Hannington. This show is brought to you by
NSSF, a better life.
Kickstart your holiday in style and be part of the grand family party organized by your very own Etzeza Mutokana, a known children entertainer and mother. It will be fun, it will be exciting, it will be memorable with lots of prizes to be won. It's going to be the best of the children's end of year party on the 1st of December 2019 in the UBC Gardens, hosted by Etzeza Mutokana. Lots of entertainment, including live performances from Uganda's finest, Fresh Kid, Pastor Wilson Bugembe, Kapiripiti.
Yagoba tegeza ngenaku z'omwezi nga lumu December tugenda beerayo ku UBC Gardens abato mujje tugalewo omwaka.
Ghetto Kids.
We are the Judas Ghetto Kids. Yes, on the 1st December tugenda beera ku UBC end of year party. Yeah. Let's all be there. You know how we do it.
All the kids come have a good time.
Let's have a good time. You know how we do it.
How we do
Straight
it.
up from the.
You know what I'm talking about. You know.
Wembley, Yo-Yo, Uganda's best dance group, gets open at 7 a.m. Entrance 10K only and parents free. Come unwind, eat, dance, sing, enjoy the bouncing castle, motor rides, camel rides, ice cream, quiz, swimming, sack races, tug of war, face painting, nyama choma, and candle floss. This party is organized by UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Kuchisawe chana chivuwa bulu primary school jangu wekwate
kyo amangu ddala wonootunira ebyamaguzi ebyo ate ono omugatteko gw'ekibuga Kampala ng'ennaku z'omwezi 19 Desemba okutuusa nga 23 Desemba guwagiddwa UBC TV, Pepsi Cola n'abanguka mu byefuna ku Star TV emunyenye y'eggwanga.
Hello, Uganda! We introduce to you the first and ever My Right to Play Christmas Kids Festival 2019. Let the kids feel the Christmas Eve on the 21st of December at the Legend Sports Ground in Lugogo. Entrance is 10,000 shillings only and parents free. Bring your child and have an opportunity to play, sing, dance and discover their talents. Mujje tuyingira amazaalibwa nga abato basanyusa bato bannaabwe. Muleete abaana bammwe banyumirwe, banywe, bazanye. Kino kigenda kubeera kijjabe. Proudly sponsored by Legend Sports Ground, UBC TV, Star TV, U24 TV, Star FM, Magic 100 FM, UBC Butebo, Marketing, UMC Victoria Hospital, and Ideas Workshop. Bw'oba oyagala omwana okuyimba kuba ku ssimu eno.
We are going to pass off. The God who opens doors is going to open doors for you. Whatever you are tormented on stops here.
Did you know that 1,000 Ugandans get HIV every week? Did you know that each week 500 people die of AIDS in Uganda? HIV is still with us. In 2017, President Museveni launched the Fast Track initiative to end AIDS in Uganda by 2030. We must stop HIV. The best way for young people to avoid HIV is to abstain from sex.
Why you in had to have sex at 16, at 18, at 20, and then you die, or you start having problems, which you may live with all your life? Why don't you wait, hold on, you study, finish your degree, and then you look for a partner at the right time?
Protect yourself. Abstain from sex until you are ready.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news tonight here on UBC TV. Now in more news, the Minister for Presidency, Esther Mbayo, has underscored the need for promotion of a multi-sector response to the HIV/AIDS in local communities. Mbayo discloses plans by government to review funding for sustainability of HIV response in Uganda. And this was during a memorial lecture for the late musician Philip Bongole Lutaya, whose roles in highlighting the dangers of HIV and AIDS have been hailed.
That we are losing 23,000 people every year, and 99% of these people are dying because of poor adherence.
We need to also look at suppression, HIV suppression as a key factor.
December 15th, 2019 will be exactly 30 years since the death of Uganda's music icon, Philip Bongole Lutaya, also the first HIV/AIDS victim to publicly declare his status. He wanted to save the world from a looming scourge that had befallen not just Uganda, but Africa and the world. How he did it is detailed in a letter that he wrote to his elder brother upon discovering his HIV status.
Life in hiding, now I'm making you come back.
Because of my reputation and good standard as a musician, I must take part in informing the people. This might perhaps save some lives. If I had known about AIDS what I know today, I would perhaps be telling a different story. What I want now is to give AIDS a face, as we call it here in the West. By publicly exposing and admitting before the masses that I have AIDS, perhaps we can give confidence and hope to other unknown AIDS patients.
This bravery is what has to date inspired many to come out in the open and declare their HIV status. Some have even written literature in Phile Bongole Lutaya's memory, including this poem by Aloja Smart of Joy.
What we shared then keeps me moving now. But as your shoes are too large for my tiny feet, because without support from the powers that be, artists can never sustain your legacy. Is it not your legacy betrayed? Atanto, Kamarad, Phile Bongole Lutaya.
Such is courage that qualifies one to be described a hero, a reason why 30 years after his long dead, Bongole Lutaya still stands out. But the war against the scourge is not yet over, as moral degeneration remains one of the drivers. According to the Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment Survey of 2016 to 2017, 33% of men had a non-marital relationship. Out of these, only a third had used protection, which makes the fight against HIV/AIDS still wanting.
And despite the progress that we hear around 90, hidden deep in this report is a very interesting statement that 54.8% of HIV positive people in Uganda have viral load suppression, which is great. The glass is half full. But that also means that 45% of HIV positive don't have viral load suppression and potentially could pass on HIV if they had unprotected sex.
These are some of the challenges that make the fight against HIV/AIDS everyone's role, with responsible living being an emphasis by Minister for Health, Jane Ruth Acheng.
But let it also be a message to all of us that my health is my responsibility. Do not go out there and enjoy sex carelessly, assuming that your health is the responsibility of the US government or the Ugandan government or the Irish government or the civil society. Your health is your responsibility, and it starts with you.
For now, hope is not yet lost, as government is concerned with the shortage of resources, planning a massive review of HIV/AIDS response funding.
Our communities are looking to us for guidance and planning, coordination and implementation of the response. Let us take full leadership and responsibility to effectively manage the response.
The inaugural Phile Bongole Lutaya Memorial Public Lecture is a brainchild of Uganda AIDS Commission, designed to honor the anti-HIV/AIDS music icon. The memorial lecture was held under the theme, Sustainability for Uganda's HIV and AIDS Response post-2020. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry, and please do remember that the fight against HIV/AIDS is not yet won. In more news, land-related conflicts have increased according to the 2018-2019 report released by Oxfam, a non-government organization. The Minister of State for Lands, Persis Namuganza, launched the report and said it will help in addressing gaps in the land ownership and utilization process. We'll take a look.
Uganda's national land policy is anchored on the objective of sustainable utilization and management of land-based resources for poverty eradication, wealth creation, and overall socio-economic development. However, the 2018-19 land report released by Oxfam, a non-government organization, shows that land inequality has increased, depriving vulnerable persons like women and orphans of their right to own and use land as a source of livelihood. One of the key highlights in the report is the rampant cases of evictions, but also inadequate and delayed compensation in cases where land is acquired for investment. The State Minister for Lands, Persis Namuganza, launched the land report and admitted that it will help government in addressing the gaps in the land laws.
Should resolve these land disputes, because without that, we cannot have production and productivity, especially in agriculture. Talk about coffee and some other perennial crops that people get scared of to invest on the land that they are not sure of that tomorrow it will still remain theirs.
However, the women on the other hand appreciated government for protecting the rights of widows in regard to land ownership.
A certificate and a title. I wish if government could help women, like the way I'm seeing government is helping women from Barara, Masaka, at least to help women from Amuria also, such that they can also have a full title on their land.
The acting country representative for Oxfam, Edward Mwebaz, says there is need to strengthen the bodies responsible for handling land-related conflicts.
The commissions and tribunals are not well funded. That the funding is limited. They do limited work, or after the reports, they have nothing else they can do as tribunals. So they need funding to enable them follow up some of the recommendations. Yeah.
Report compiled by Gloria Guitabinji for UBC TV News.
The Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Janet Mukwaya, challenges graduates to use the skills they have acquired to promote our country, Uganda. Now, the Minister was at the Uganda Graduate Volunteer Scheme ceremony in Naguru at the United Nations Development Programme, where they train graduates to compete on the job market. More on this report.
So all you need is concentration.
Uganda Graduate Volunteer Scheme trains graduates and empowers them with skill to work in global organizations. This year, 95 graduates have received their certificate satisfying them to work in various parts of the country and abroad. The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Janet Mukwaya, handed over certificates to the trainees. The minister challenged them to be responsible.
10% of what you are is your mother's contribution. Because what we are talking about here, these are soft skills: humbleness, humility, patience. For those fathers who impart these skills to their children, congratulations.
The United Nations Development Programme representative, Elsie Giatafol, urged government to eliminate unemployment.
78% are below the ages of 30. That is a big one for us. And there is no way we can achieve development in our Vision 2040 without looking at the issue around unemployment, addressing it, and particularly in the context of the youth.
Deborah Maitamu from World Vision, one of the partners of this program, says the graduates are willing to do tasks assigned to them.
Vision, our experience has been fruitful with volunteers showing a lot of eagerness to learn. They want to do tasks, they want to take so much, they want to go everywhere. Tell them to go to West Nile, they want to be there. Tell them to go to Karamoja, my village, they want to be there. Tell them to go to Chenjojo, they just want to sit in the car and go. That's what they want. And we are very grateful for that. That is an eagerness to learn.
Navidia Dauphin spoke on behalf of graduates.
With this background of working in these organizations, in all these areas, it has equipped us with the skills of how to deal with people from different nationalities, from different ethnic backgrounds, and given the fact there are very many, it has brought very many creative ideas on the table, giving us new insights into how they think how they shape things from their own perspective. And this has given us a very, very, very productive and creative way of thinking.
Detna Saku and Andrew Sebira, UBC.
In more news, the Central Region has appreciated the Presidential Initiative on Wealth and Job Creation, MIOGA, aimed at encouraging and developing them through forming circles. Now, this presidential initiative of MIOGA is targeting those in the same job to form circles, for example, mechanics, border boarders, journalists, taxi drivers, among others. And this is to enable government support each circle with 30 million shillings as capital. Let's take a look at more in this report.
The Presidential Initiative on Wealth and Job Creation, MIOGA, has been commended by people in the districts of Buganda, saying they have hopes in this program to enable them overcome poverty.
The whole program is well thought out, well laid out. It is bottom to top. It encourages the culture of saving, right?
To enable all actors, economic actors, to access finances, which has been a major challenge in most of our businesses.
This initiative is mostly targeting people doing one job like tailors, border cyclists, journalists, restaurant owners, and market vendors. Under this initiative, each district will have 18 selected groups coordinated by resident district commissioners, and each of the 17 selected groups in the district will be given 30 million. However, the one for leaders will receive 50 million Ugandan shillings. Communities in the districts of Buganda commended this presidential initiative of MIOGA during the regional sensitization meetings at Impigi district headquarters, presided over by the State Minister for Microfinance, Ajaruna Kasolo.
It is intended to mobilize people, come together to form groups where they can save, but also government will give them a hand, every hand. Every organized group at the district level is going to be given 30 million shillings.
Kasolo cautioned Ugandans against antagonizing this program. Kasolo also cautioned Ugandans against antagonizing this program. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Amelia Anchambade, and also Area MP, commended President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the State Minister for Microfinance, Ajaruna Kasolo, for the regional sensitization meetings in her area.
Of starting new projects and initiatives and even policies without sensitizing the public. But I would like to thank the Minister of State for Microfinance, for having come up to sensitize, educate, and teach people about this program, which
In more news, the National Drug Authority has impounded over 390 boxes of assorted medicine and has ordered closure of 244 drug outlets in the southeastern part of the country. This resulted from the ongoing operations on substandard, counterfeit and unregistered medicines, including unauthorized condoms. The operation was conducted between the 25th and the 29th of November 2019. This was in districts of Mokono, Buyende, Kaliro, Luuka, Kamuli, Buikwe, Mayuge, Bugweri, Kayunga, Iganga and Jinja, among others.
Pharmacies zibiri mu ataano mwemu ne clinics bisatu mu abiri mwemu. Ebikwekweto bikyagenda mu maaso. Twali wano mu mwezi gwa Juni era twakola ebikwekweto byebimu ng'ekigendererwa kulaba nti omutindo gw'amaduuka ago gusituka n'abagukolamu nabo babeere n'ebisaanyizo.
And two, we call upon the community to continue reporting such cases for us to succeed in carrying out our mandate. NDA, Uganda Police and Ministry of Health, we have a task ahead of us to continue sensitizing the masses. Masses need continuous sensitization, and we are not leaving the ground. We are keeping our ears on the ground. We are going to continue with these operations. We are not about to stop. It makes no sense when a duty bearer who is supposed to be carrying out a responsibility leaves it with the other who is not supposed to be doing it.
And now in the world of business, the East African private sector players have been urged to collaborate in order to boost the competitiveness of the region in international spheres. A selfish and divided private sector is cited as an impediment to the East Africa's social and economic integration agenda. Now our reporter Dennis Sigoy is in Arusha covering the Business and Investment Summit, which coincided with East Africa Community's 20 years of anniversary celebration.
The East African Business and Investment Summit in Arusha, Tanzania has concluded with stakeholders from partner states promising to enhance collaboration. With the private sector labeled selfish at the summit, we seek to ascertain the truth.
That could have been the situation, but this kind of activity which we are holding starts removing those situations which are reflected that it is selfishness. It is issue which now we start seeing how can the private sector work with other sectors to bring an improvement to the private sector while also improving other sectors, including public sector through government taxes, but also improving the standards of living of the citizens.
But why is it so when the region has set clear socio-economic goals with the private sector as the fulcrum?
I think every business objective is to accrue as much profit as possible, and that's their mandate, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I think quite often you find that, and to be fair, it's in their interest to be seen to be selfish, because you have to look at your bottom line. But I think we now need to look at ways at which to identify policy directives that stand to have a greater benefit to the private sector rather than to a particular firm. Maybe taking a sectorial approach.
On the theme, East African Community at 20, private sector-driven regional integration, the summit took stock of the region's business and investment progress.
We've been addressing the non-tariff barriers. This is our day-to-day challenge, the remaining non-tariff barriers, because not only do we, when we work on some and eliminate them from, for example, from the 28 to about 8, but there are some which come up, new ones which come up. Therefore, it's a constant engagement with various partner states on easing movement of goods, services and people.
What actually stops increased trade, or which reduces the trade, intra-EAC trade, is what we call non-tariff barriers. It has become a common word. So my first proposal was that when we sign protocols, let's commit to them. Like we say, walk the talk.
Over 300 top chief executive officers, industry champions, women in business, small and medium entrepreneurs, and investors from across the region and beyond engaged in high-level dialogue focused on spurring regional integration and socio-economic development. The East African Community integration is a process and not an event, and therefore it is paramount for the East African partner states to make serious commitment and walk the talk in the integration journey. Dennis Sigoy for UBC News in Arusha, Tanzania.
Thank you, Dennis, for that beautiful story. In other news, Black Friday is a global phenomenon that sees people shop at reduced prices in major stores, including those in Uganda and across the world. Now, at exactly Thursday midnight, game stores and ShopRite at Lugogo saw a mad rush by shoppers as they geared to buy products at reduced prices. Whereas online store markets reduced items to be delivered, shoppers had to line up in hundreds to pick products, and by Friday morning, most of the products were all taken off the shelves. Let's now join Patricia with the capital market.
To be expensive, but this is not
Welcome to the financial markets. It is a Friday and this is the day where we bring you the financial markets roundup. My name is Patricia Lukuma. Now, as we look at the forex market, as you can see, the shilling has been holding firm there since Monday, and right now we see it is quoted at 3,694.58, 3,704.58. That is buying and selling respectively. And of course, you can see it has been a little bit mature against all these other currencies: the pound, the euro, the Kenyan shilling, and the Tanzanian shilling. Now, quickly off to the Uganda Securities Exchange. There was no price movements on most of the counters, and activity was basically on Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited to a tune of 1.38 million Ugandan shillings to a percentage of 0.29. It has been trading at 25 shillings since Monday, and we have seen more activity happening for this particular counter. Other counters are not dormant per se, but they are not having much demand on the bows. Now, in terms of general performance, as you can see, as the week is ending, we are seeing a slow trend on the Uganda Securities Exchange performance. We see a turnover of 1.39 million, meaning we only have one particular counter that has really taken action on the bows. The shares traded were simply 57,000 shares, and the value in terms of performance where the local share index performed at 122.98, and the all share index, the index that joins the cross-listed and the locally listed counters, performed at 1,733.30. Now, quickly onto the commodity market. You can see on the commodity markets, we have Owino market, Kisenyi market, Nakawa, and Kalere. But what we know for sure that these market prices are going to definitely change as we get closer to Christmas. And one thing I know for sure is that the beef price could really hiken up to 15,000 shillings. My name is Patricia Lukuma. That's all we had time for in our financial market.
Ahmed Kongola has been named as the new Chief Executive Officer at the Eastern Uganda Best Uganda Premier League club, Bull FC. Kongola bounces back into the club's administration and management after parting ways with Ginger Best entity Busoga United Football Club. Kongola has been granted a 2-year employment contract effective of 1st December 2019.
I'm very excited to be part of this brand called Bull, and I'm more excited because the team that I found in place is a good team, and I'm ready to work with that team. And if we cooperate as a team, I'm very sure Bull is going to be big beyond, not just in Uganda, but in the world at large. We expect to work very hard because right now I found Bull FC in second position, and I pray so much to my God that we maintain that position and maybe we win even the trophy this year, much as my target is winning the trophy in 2 years. But if I win it this year, it is a bonus, and I'm very sure with the team I found in place, we are capable of doing that.
In more sports news, the Uganda cricket senior team has left for Oman to compete at the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifiers. Now, 14 players were flagged off at the National Council of Sports headquarters in Lugogo. Their games start this weekend and will run up to 13th of December. Teams will play in a round-robin format at the tournament that has Kenya, Italy, Hong Kong, and Bermuda.
Well, our expectations are high. Obviously, we're going to play 5 games in Oman. We need to win all the 5 games to secure the 10 points. I know last time when we were in Oman, we didn't have a good outing there for some unavoidable reasons, but that is history now. This is a new tournament. we start on a clean slate, and obviously the teams that are there, as you've rightly heard, we've played them before, so we have a good knowledge of the 5 teams. But having said that, that does not count much. We need to be on top of our game once we start the tournament. So we're looking to do well in all the 5 games, but we'll take it one game at a time. It's a good mix of seniors and 2 or 3 youngsters. Most of the guys on this team are experienced guys. They're guys who've been around, they've played cricket for a good while now, and they know what is expected of them. So I'm very confident that they are going to deliver. The case scenario is to win all 5 games. You never go into a tournament thinking you're going to lose. So for us, our minds are very positive. We want to win all 5 games, but like I said, we'll take it one game at a time. We don't want to look too far ahead of ourselves.
In more sports news still, the Spaniard who previously led the Paris Saint-Germain to the French league title and won 3 Europa Leagues with Sevilla was appointed Ghana's boss in May 2018, succeeding Arsene Wenger. He has been replaced on a temporary basis by assistant and former Arsenal midfielder Freddie Ljungberg. Arsenal say that the decision had been taken due to the results and performances not being at the level required. The Gunners have not won in 7 games and lost 2-1 at home in Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League on Thursday. It is their worst run without a victory since February 1992, which was 8 games under George Graham. They are without a Premier League victory since 6th of October and 8 points off the top 4. Ljungberg took training on Friday, and the Arsenal statement added, "We have full confidence in Freddie to take us forward." Well, let's take a look at tonight's top stories before we get into the weather forecast. Uganda set for a middle income status. Makerere investigating sex for marks scandals. Mutiana constructing an NRM office. And the Uganda cricket team goes to Oman. Well, it's now time to say good night. It's been a lovely bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and from the team and I, it's good night.
Once again to the weather report, I'm Alitveda Juliet. Today most parts of the country have had thunder showers, most especially areas in the southern sector of our country. From the rainfall report received by 9 a.m. this morning, Bara reported the highest of 47.1 millimeters, Namlongi 40.2, Masindi 31.8, Jinja 27.6 millimeters, whereas Kampala reported 13.5 millimeters. And this is attributed to what you're seeing on our satellite image, that the rain belt is still over our country, and it is because we have low pressure zones over the south of the continent and those in Indian Ocean, rendering this rain belt over the southern sector of our country. For tomorrow morning, we expect light rains for most parts of the country, thunder showers for Jinja and Toro. Elsewhere, we shall have a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Later in the afternoon, we expect wet weather pickup for most parts of our country. Be ready for this condition. Maximum temperatures will rise up to 30 degrees centigrade for the Karamoja region. Around the lake, we expect a range of 27 to 28 degrees centigrade. And for those in Kabale Highlands, we expect a maximum of 24 degrees centigrade. If you intend to go beyond Uganda, we are anticipating light rains for Dar es Salaam and Nairobi at a maximum of 32 in Dar es Salaam. Johannesburg and Tokyo, we are expecting sunny conditions, whereas Amsterdam, cloudy conditions are expected and really cold weather. That is a maximum of 7 degrees centigrade. Thank you for keeping us company. Have a blessed weekend.
Well, friends of UBC, welcome to our program. I would like to invite you to take part of this program and watch now testimony of someone that overcame in the campaign of Israel. This time around, we are climbing Mount Sinai. You are going up, God is coming down on top of this mountain. Watch now and participate, because I'm sure God will change your life.
At the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God.
My name is Tulani Masugu. I am born from a family of 26 children. This already tells you how difficult life was in the family, how difficult it was for my father to take care of us. Going to school was just a dream. Having shoes, clothes, was just a dream. I remember we used to sleep on the floor with only one blanket, shared among 5 of us. I was one of the lucky ones who was chosen by the aunt who had a bit of wealth. She owned a shebeen, so she took me to stay with her, to help her in the shebeen business. And in that process, I was abused. I started to drink. I started to use substances for me to cope with the situation. So slowly, I even got addicted unaware. At this stage, I was at standard 8. I got involved in a relationship, but most of the relationship did not work out because I was too stressed. The abuse that I went through when I grew up, the suffering, I couldn't